Let's try this week's Crumbl Cookies.
Over the Crumbl Cookie reviews that never have a single critical thing to say. Like, there's no way they're all always amazing. So I'm here once again to give you an actual, honest, critical review of this week's flavors. Because last week was definitely a skip week. The one before that was pretty decent, so let's see how this week goes. So we've made it down to this row here, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about the Olivia Rodrigo cookie and the Waffle cookie. Because, listen, Minnesotans, we know maple syrup, we know waffle, and I love a good maple anything. So the cookies I decided to skip this week is, as always, the chocolate chip cookie. I trust that they can do a chocolate chip cookie, hopefully. And I decided to skip the lemon cookie this week because I really don't like lemon in desserts. Unless it's a good old-fashioned Midwest Minnesota lemon bar dessert, that's completely different, and my mother nails, that's the only exception for lemon for me. Unfortunately, they didn't sell the Olivia Rodrigo cookie in a mini size, so for the first time, we had to get the full size of all the cookies. And I'm not gonna lie, they look really dry already, so it's gonna be interesting. Which means I also got the pudding to try, and I'm very excited because I love a banana pudding. All right, here's the scale. As a reminder, we're changing it up a little bit this week, though. 0, we'll say, is like eating a handful of raw flour. 5 is still like a Cub Foods or Target bakery cookie. Like, she's not the best, but you'll buy them for parties sometimes. They're pretty affordable, not terrible. And then 10, we'll just say, is a really, really good bakery cookie. Like, it really hits the spot. Pretty top tier. Let's start with the banana pudding. Now, for starters, they literally gave me nothing to eat this with, and I didn't see any utensils in the store, so already really bad to sell something that people can't eat. So we're gonna have to try and use this old Culver's straw to eat this pudding, embarrassingly. I don't even know how to go about this, but let's try it. Oh, you know what? I love it. I'm a sucker for a banana pudding, though. I'm in heaven right now. I'm probably biased because I prefer pudding over cookies, but this gets our first ever 10 out of 10. I could eat a whole gallon of this. Literally having to put the cap on it to make me stop eating it so I can get to the other cookies now. But that's gonna be hard to follow, but next we got the chocolate strawberry cookie. It's not bad, actually. It's better than some of their chocolate cookies I've had. Now, I'm not a big chocolate person, so I'm just gonna give this a 7 out of 10. But I could very much see this being an 8 or 9 for most people. Now, I was most excited for the maple waffle cookie. Once I learned you had to put the syrup on yourself and it wasn't just like an icing maple glaze, I suddenly was no longer interested in it. That seems like a horrible user experience, especially for a car. I don't know how we're gonna do this. Yeah, it's already spilling on me. We're just gonna have to dunk it, I guess. It tastes like nothing and then maple syrup. Alright, now that I've sat with it, it actually is pretty good, but it does just taste like an Eggo waffle. Due to the fact that the syrup was dripping all over me and I hated it, I'm going to give that a 4 out of 10. It tastes pretty good once you're eating it, but they need to figure out an easier way to do that. Ooh, that was a little dry too. Finally, we have the Olivia Rodrigo cookie. I don't really know what the flavors are supposed to be, so let's find out. It's really dry and it kind of tastes like nothing. I imagine the jam in the center probably adds flavor, but it's only in the center, so that really does nothing for the rest of the cookie. Definitely getting like a 2 or 3. It really doesn't taste like anything. Very much so a plain sugar cookie with no flavor. Interestingly enough, this week we got one of our lowest ratings and one of our highest ratings, so it's hard to say if this is a skip week or not. I think once again, it really just depends on your own personal preferences. But that maple cookie was definitely a nightmare and needs to be reworked into some sort of a maple icing and not just straight up maple syrup.